in the vaudeville. They had real talent.
Speaking of funny podcast.
Not this young stuff you had today. You call it funny. Speaking of funny.
Mr. Perry, thank you for coming on.
What's up, man? Thank you, Sonny. You look great.
Thank you. I try.
Well, you know, this might be the most handsome I've ever seen.
See?
You know what? This is what I don't like. I don't like how comedians when I clean up, they like, oh boy, you look good. Hey, first off, where was your constructive criticism when I was just out here looking like a wild wolf? Like, ain't nobody tell me to get a haircut and nothing. Then I get one. They like, you look
First
good.
of all, I have said on many occasions, you're a bit peculiar, but I must go on record and say, Sonny, I see what all the ladies see now.
See?
What?
He told you, Sonny.
What lady? Hold on. Now he knows something I don't know then. What ladies? You give me the list.
Hey, let me tell you something. I didn't see you macking and attacking.
I've done none of those. I've not crisscross jumped to anything.
He's being humble right now.
Well, Mr. Perry, I appreciate you coming on real quick. This is Bella Hughley, my co-host, new comedian. So the great thing about Bella, Rodney.
Hi, we've met before.
I'm sure.
And you tell me every time you see me, you look like Rudy Huxtable.
You do look like Rudy a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You tell me everything. And I say that every time you see me. It's in person. I don't look like it now when I'm in person.
Yeah, you know.
I had to cry in front of the police this morning, so I don't look. I'm not as jazzy as I normally be.
Right. So for anybody who might not know, which you only don't know if you're just a fan of this podcast and not actually paying attention to the comedy world, Rodney Perry is a legend, a genius, and one of the overall greats. He's my mentor, one of the first to take me to the side and give me advice. He was the, what do you call it? The sidekick. I don't like saying sidekick, but on the Monique show.
The title was co-host, but
co-host.
It's I was in a service mode in my life to Monique at that point. That's what I look at it as.
But you stole the show. That was the crazy part. I honestly did not know about you until then. And then when I was watching the show more for you than I was for the guests. Wow. I wanted to hear what Rodney was. I was like, how's Rodney going? What's even though you were only gonna make like maybe one or two cracks per segment, I wanted to hear what those cracks were gonna be more than I wanted to hear, what the guest was pushing.
Got it. Appreciate that.
No problem. Oh, one of my earliest memories with Rodney. So we were at Make Me Laugh Monday, Vanessa Fraction's spot. That's where I met Rodney, but it was my birthday. And on my birthday,
birthday stories today.
It is. But on my birthday, it was 2012, and what Eddie Winslow, Darius McCrary was in there with his girl or whatever. So they let me go up last after Rodney had already headlined. Rodney had already blew the place apart, but they let me go on last just as a favor because it was my birthday. And I went up there. I was nervous, but after I got off stage, Rodney handed me a Jack and Coke and said, "You did good." And that was the proudest I ever felt in my life. I was like, yo, did this guy who's been on TV just hand me a Jack and Coke and not tell me I got to give him $12 back to pay for it? I done made it. You couldn't tell me nothing for a good month. Wow. Rodney Perry bought me a Jack and Coke. What you doing?
Hey,
happy birthday.
Hey, happy birthday. But that's just, and ever since I've known you, you have taken time to speak with, younger comedians and guide. And it's, you've never been too big to talk to, And so my question, I guess, is how do you maintain that kind of humility? Because we were talking earlier, a lot of people, they think they have it, but their actions don't match what they think they have. How do you maintain that kind of humility as far as you've been in your journey?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, you just have to be genuine and have a real desire to see people do better. It's our job to take care of comedy, right? We were all open micers one day. We were all, thirsty for the game at one point. And so J. Anthony Brown once told me, he said, Rodney, comics only want one thing, and that's just a little game, a little advice, You know, people don't want your money. They don't want, they don't want you to put them on the show. They really want the game. And so if it takes me a few minutes to drop a jewel that I've learned over my 20 or 30 years, and that can help you maybe, speed up, go faster than me, that's a good thing.
That's fantastic. I mean, and then like you said, a lot of people only give you so much game so that you can get right below where they see themselves. You, like you just said, you're giving game in the hopes that, hey, maybe I might see you surpass me.
Yeah.
And that's like your never the next level, never deny. I have watched you do that for some years, and I've seen you actually put the praise out on the people, on the comics that have come through there. Like, watch out for this person. It's like, don't you got a show coming up? How come you're not pushing your show? But no, you're telling people to watch out for this comic that you've noticed is great in your eyes.
I'm super competitive, but I kind of rarely am competing at comedy. You know what I mean? It's don't get me wrong. If you doubt me and don't think I can do what I do, I really get competitive then. But in general, man, we're all brothers and sisters in this game. And so when I see a Christine Porter, who is now Miss Shirlene, or when I see a guy like Marvin Hunter that took my class, or even Benny Pitts, I see guys or females or women that could be potential stars. And it's awesome to be a part of a person's first steps. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Because I can do. I was gonna say I can just banter all day. Go ahead. I'm pretty sure you have a structured question.
Well, okay, structured question. I let me see. I met you originally through Mad.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is years ago, maybe 2010, something like that. And you were doing like the improv.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's classes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were doing like the improv, and you were just doing a lot of things. And that was when I was just like comedy writing. And I asked you to give me some pointers, and you told me just keep writing. Just keep
Right is right.
Yeah. Just keep on writing. Yep, that's what you told me. And so I wanted to know, how do you balance what you do on stage and traveling and writing? I think that's something I'm kind of struggling with. Do you, I travel with a backpack all the time, and I got my notebook, my iPad with a pencil, and I'm always like writing. Do you find that to be something critical? And I've met comics who don't write at all. That baffles me. But are you a comedian that doesn't write, or just has the gift of just being funny?
I do believe that your talent can kind of carry you, but I'm also a big fan of work ethic. I fashion myself of less of a writer and more of a reporter. So my approach is a little different. I'm always reporting my life. I'm always looking, taking inventory of the world, and I'm reporting that back to my audience. So my writing process probably is different than yours. And that's no diss to what you do or what I do. It's just different. We all approach that thing different. I'm rarely going to write just something that don't have nothing to do with nothing. You know what I mean? Gotcha. It's always going to be connected to me somehow. I got this concept I'm working on now where I say, that marriage is a bad contract. I mean, I've been married 25 years, but it's just a bad deal. You would never sign any other deal under the same pretenses. You wouldn't buy a car that you had to keep forever.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And so it hasn't formed itself as a joke yet, but the idea, my wife and I have been married 25 years. So it's 25 years of marriage, but like we should have to renew this thing at some point. Like we should have to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know we got kids and everything, but just take them out the equation. Do you still like me?
Let's get to the meat.
And so that's those questions that came about of real life, and it's more again of me just looking at real life, whether it's my kids, and taking inventory of the stuff they do, and like my daughter is a dancer. My son was a tattletale. That was a part of my act at one point. He would tell everything. And so I guess to answer your question, for me, being a reporter is more feasible, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And maybe a technique you could try, and just start really, because like any given day, I might have 30 ideas, 40 or 50 ideas. And so I just jot it down. I might throw it in my phone. I might, I might have a little book that I expand topics on and stuff like that. But I try not to, like, writers encounter stuff that all writers encounter, like writer's block.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I never deal with writer's block because I'm always like going, oh, that's funny. Oh, that's used to, yeah. And then like I watched the video, even creating for the internet, I'm just finding stuff that I think is funny and I'm expanding on it. So that's it.
Since you spoke about the internet, I ask people this, and it's pretty random. So everybody has those little random videos that they like to watch on the internet. What are you watching right now? Like, for example, like I like to watch things being like crushed, like the
really?
Well, my 2-year-old got me into it. Really, she
like
likes
monster
to watch
trucks or the caterpillars going over cars.
Yeah, and I find myself like on TikTok watching this guy like peel this egg. It's so weird and random, and I end up spending like 20 minutes on it. I'm like, what the hell?
Right.
So, do you have anything that kind of caught you on the internet? One of these little content, I call them a content.
I mean, it's so easy to go down a rabbit hole, man.
Yeah.
One video could have you tied up for an hour. You know what I mean? So I just watched this video recently. It's a guy on a plane. I travel a lot, so it piqued my interest. It's a guy on a plane, and the lady is asking him, could her daughter switch seats with him so she can look out the window? He's like, no. And he goes on. He's like, look, he said, how about this? Your daughter can learn a valuable lesson that life isn't like that. You can't just get what you want. And it was so funny to me. And so I just posted a video late last night about that. I like the split screen videos. I like to be, a contributor to the metaverse, if you will. Mm-hmm. And so I'm always kind of, finding stuff that I think is funny.
Okay, that's so important to, we all are partakers in comedy and the content that we, see. And I think it's important to share, what we like, and I think that's huge of you to share content, of other people. What do you think, Sonny?
No, that's definitely, because I'm
sorry, Sonny. It's also one of the ways I stay relevant. Y'all much younger than me, and I'm watching y'all just like y'all watching me. I'm watching y'all create social media content, this and that, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of the way of the Jedi now. So as a Jedi, if I don't learn the new moves, I'm subject to get my butt whooped. So we're always in a constant, perpetual state of learning, and the old dude that talk about, oh man, these young kids, they need to do what we did. That's the first day your ass is old.
Mm-hmm.
And I refuse. I got gray hair, but I ain't old.
And speaking of that, so last Monday, because I knew I was only going to be able to accept one source of anything last Monday after the Oscars. So I went on your live, and the range of comedians that he allowed to come on with him to speak on it, like Lunel was on there, Mark Henderson was on there, Steve Brown was on there, some people I'd never heard of, but I went and looked up all of them Because I was like, Howard, it's just a connection type thing. And I think because what he said about being a student, he's able to bridge those gaps. Whereas if I know some older comedians who they only know older comedians, they only know the cats they came up with because they're just constantly going, oh no. But what I wanted to talk about, since, I don't want to talk about the slap. Everybody and their mamas done talked about that.
Okay.
What I wanted to talk about was, I thought that your live was brilliant because what it brought up was different things that nobody was talking about, like the mental health aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Not just who's right, who's wrong, but how Black men are expected to have this whole little, we've got ourselves together, and then something happens and everybody's like, oh, what? Like, people just can't snap. The side of it where no matter what, somebody looks like a punk. Like, no matter how much people were like, Chris Rock was professional, in the Black community, if you don't slap somebody back, you look like a punk.
Oh, absolutely.
The toxic mask. So I was just, the fact that you were able to have a conversation that brought up so much, and then some of the answers were shocking. Were you shocked by some of the answers that you got from some people in that live?
I mean, when you ask a person a question, they say you should never ask a person a question that you don't know the answer to. And so when you ask a person a question, you assume that they're going to respond a certain way, and like Mark Henderson surprised me. He was very, very pro Will Smith.
Pro Will.
And I am pro Jada. And I just found that to be interesting. He was really adamant about like, yo, we must protect our women. And I thought that was really interesting. And I can't take that away from him. I had to just, take him and listen to him his perspective. And people gave me a lot of food for thought because I was thinking one way, and you have to open your mind up to accommodate other people's ideas. And so that gives you a more round look at the whole situation. Sure, you could demonize Will Smith, but I mean, your wife did come under attack, and what we don't know is the private conversations they had, and the nights where he had to hold her because she's crying because the alopecia is just that bad on her. A woman to lose her hair, that's a lot, and so as you process that, you're like, wow, forget what I think. Maybe they have a point. And so, anytime you're doing interviews, and I've had a chance to watch some great people host shows, you have to have a real thirst for knowledge, and if it's about you, it can sound whack and you can be disingenuous, but I believe that if you have a real thirst for the truth, for the knowledge, because like I say all the time when I do shows like that, I'm like, look, am I losing my mind or this? Because I might be, Rodney Perry could be way off, and because I'm very comfortable with being wrong, and sometimes I'm wrong.
So what was your take on it? I didn't I missed it live. Sonny let me know about it too late.
Initially, I felt like Jada drove the whole situation. I felt like she hijacked Will's night. I felt like that our wives, our women sometimes understand how to press our buttons. I'm a man that's married again 25 years, and the only person in the world that could press my buttons is that lady upstairs. And so I think she had the opportunity to shut all of that down with a will. Stop. And so that's my initial response. But then after hearing other people's ideas, I'm like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't about her. Maybe it's about Will. And after reading his book, taking that in, you go, well, maybe he was really going through something right then. And Chris Rock just got caught up in it. You know what I mean?
That's what I was telling folks. Like, you don't get to choose when you snap. You don't get to choose how you snap. It just happens.
Right.
And so that might have just been his moment.
And then how about this as another school of thought? When Black men had the luxury of snapping.
Okay.
I mean, that's something that's another thing, Yeah. And so there's so many schools of thought that it brought up, and it made us really have to have a real honest conversation. And I think some people grabbed that conversation with me and Lunel, and that part went viral. it was like, we need to pay y'all because y'all we use y'all video. I was like, just post my stuff when I need it posted.
Right.
Yeah, because when she came on there, like I think like you were getting ready to want to jump off, and then she came on, and then that made it like a whole another 45 minutes, but it was very insightful. It was like, cause I'm not gonna lie, black men sitting around blaming Jada for this. I understand her role, but if me and you get into a fight, you can't, people can't go back and be like, oh, Rodney's wife should have did this. Ultimately, your actions and my actions are the only two that counted. Right. So that's what I was getting mad at. And so when she brought that aspect into the conversation where she was actually kind of agreeing that Jada was at fault, I was like, oh, never mind. Let me shut up.
Right. But again, it's so many little schools of thought that it just makes you stop and go, I don't have to be right here for all of us to benefit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this. Something we have in common. So we are both stroke victims.
That is a fact.
And
stroke survivors.
Stroke survivors. There we go. I didn't know what the absolute correct stroke survivors. But here's the crazy part. So I had mine earlier this year. Nobody ever referenced me to you before. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's ever been, if I've been like, yo, I need some comedy advice. I need this, I need that. Nobody's ever been like, you should call Rodney Perry. The minute I had a stroke, everybody was like, you know who you need to call? You need to call Rodney. I got his number right here. I'm like, I've had Rodney's number for about 10 years. Like, they're like, no, you need to call him. And so I don't know how to feel about that everybody's like, they're like, oh, you've had a stroke, Rodney's had a stroke. I'm like, that's not, why am I more famous or more well known for a medical condition than I am for my comedy? And did it ever feel like that with you? Not even necessarily with the stroke, but with anything else. Like, have you ever felt like something else overshadowed your talent when you didn't want it to?
Let me say this real quick before you jump into that. When you had COVID and you was on live, it scared the shit out of me.
Me too.
I ain't even gonna lie. I watched your live and I was in tears and I was like, why am I? It scared me so bad. And I started calling up like the older people in my family and stuff like, y'all go get, vaccinated and wear y'all mask. And I saw you could barely even talk and you were still making people laugh, still cracking jokes. And you were still like pushing this, on your live. But it scared the shit out of me. And I said, Rodney, if I needed to go lay down, but you were still like pushing forward. But I do remember you going through that. And you were like one of the only people that I saw that were still like speaking on it, because I think at that time people were just kind of like, oh, like
just assuming if you got it, you was gonna die.
Yeah. And it was, you were still like, people were still kind of joking about it, not really taking it seriously. And I think after your live, people really started to say, okay, you know what, this is, somebody I know, somebody I respect, is affected by this. And I really think it took it changed a lot of people's viewpoints in it. I know it definitely changed mine, but don't scare me like that no more. Because
hilarious. Well, I didn't mean to make you cry. So here let's go. Two things. Okay, the stroke overshadowing. When you're in it, you ain't thinking about that. When you're in it, my body was contorted. I didn't know if I would walk again. I do a joke, and then I'm also in a hospital trying to figure out how am I going to make this funny, right? I'm thinking about that. I'm like, yo, this shit ain't funny. This is I gotta figure out a way. And so I just began to again take inventory of the whole situation. I had a physical therapist to help me. I had an occupational therapist that helped me. So now when I talk about that stuff on stage, it becomes an overall commentary of the whole medical system. Right. And how I learned as I went through those moments, I learned how to be a patient. I learned how to let go and I learned about God. I had conversations with God during that time. So when you see me do this part of my life and my act, it's me being a reporter and coming back and telling y'all what happened. And so I never worried about it overshadowing my art, but I thought that maybe I may not be able to do my art no more, if that make any sense. you know, because again, when your brain is not talking to parts of your body, you like, yo, it don't hurt. I'm not in pain. So it was nothing that you could point to a doctor and be like, this hurts. It was just like, it just wasn't working. And I just remember that. And each day I got a little stronger, got a little better, connected those dots. And as it relates to COVID, you know, a few years later, you know, it's like you only got so many chances to go in front of the world with an illness. Right. So I had already done the stroke thing. People stopped and prayed for me and things of that nature. Now your ass got COVID. You know, people be side-eyeing you for real. And so
it's always something with Rodney.
Right. But to be honest, and I'll tell both of y'all this, it's like when you deal with something where you contemplating your mortality, I just knew I wasn't about to die. I knew that when COVID came, you know, I knew I wasn't going to die. And so I was like, this is something I got to go through. It's going to take me a few days and they're going to send me home. The real work came for me with COVID was when I got home. So I was 14 days in the hospital, but I wasn't doing nothing. I was just kind of in the bed. And when I got home and, you know, my wife and my family, they'd be like, you need to get back to being daddy and you need to get back to being husband. And so we don't baby you around here. You know, you got 2 days of baby, and after that, they like, you need to go get your plate yourself, you know. And so when I got home, I came home with oxygen, and I couldn't walk across the room. And I was able to work through that. I bought a Peloton. I started riding my bike, and we fought. You know, we fought. I mean, when in doubt, you know, I'm not undefeated when it comes to fighting in real life, but if you want to fight with a disease, let's go.
I feel that. I absolutely feel that. Question: Did you get vaccinated afterwards?
I got vaccinated. You know, my sister made me get vaccinated. You know, she called me every day until I did it. And I mean, I thought, to be honest, Sonny, I'm coming off COVID. I thought I was Superman. I was like, I got antibodies. You know, but I was never opposed to vaccination, you know, like I was never like one of those people, you know, like, well, you know, they got us in Tuskegee, you know, so I wasn't thinking like that. I mean, I've, you know, I'm an ex-military. I was in the Navy for 8 years. I've been shot for reasons with stuff that I didn't know what it was. Right. And so I wasn't tripping out the vaccination. And again, it's not going to kill me. It's just not. I just know it's not gonna kill me. I'm gonna go out fly though. I'm gonna go out fly. When I go, it's gonna be fly.
Can I be in charge of the open bar at your funeral?
Oh my gosh.
Just
no.
You don't even drink no more, Sonny.
That's why I want to be in charge of the open bar. I want to make sure I give people the cutoff.
See, that's awesome.
I ain't no open bar.
Ain't no open bar at yours?
Hell no.
What's next for you? Not like, oh, I'll be touring here, you know, next week. And the bigger picture, like what are you dreaming about?
When are we getting the Rodney Perry show? That's what I want.
Yeah, like what are you dreaming
I mean,
about?
I've been working a lot lately, a lot of TV. I'm working on a TV show called Cold and Windy right now. I'm working on another TV show called Finding Happy. I got a movie coming out with Joe Coy called Easter Sunday. And so, I mean, a lot of the work I've kind of already done. To answer your question, sis, I'm like, you know, I definitely want to put a special out in the world, you know, a comedy special. I definitely am working on that. And then beyond that, you know, the Rodney Perry show, you know, what that is, what that feels like. I'm kind of figuring that out right now, you know, because I realize that if I want to show a television show, I need to write it. And so I'm working on that right now.
I'm a comedy writer. Let me just put that out there. I've written for television before. So look, you need
award
somebody.
shows.
Yeah, you need somebody.
That's great. That's great. Something to know, because I was talking about, like, you know, hiring a writer's assistant and somebody to help me collect my thoughts. And so that might be something real cool we can collaborate on.
Yes, I was like, somebody told me I need to do that. I didn't need to put myself out there. Like, you have access to all these people. You writing and you're not putting yourself out there. So that's something I've never done before. So for me to say that to you is like huge. And so, because I'm afraid of rejection. But thank you. So
I mean, no ain't no. This is no is empowering. Like you got to look at no. A no releases you. You know what I mean? Like somebody tell you no, that's a good thing. What you don't want is people to say yes and then really mean no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's
the whack
right.
people. No is liberating. No is like, nah, dog, I ain't doing that right now. Mm-hmm. Yes, and then the dude's whack is worse, way worse.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I kind of thought that's how you did me. I was like, I called Rodney last week to ask him to be on the show. And Rodney was probably like, yeah, whatever. It's Sunny.
No, Sonny, I'm a fan, man, and if I drug my feet, it wasn't on you, it was on me because I just got busy all of a sudden, you know what I mean?
But I don't blame you because I know how busy you are and I know how big you like.
And I know G Wade, me and G Wade go back forever. So G Wade's been doing this. I was like, man, if y'all could do this virtually, I'm in.
Yes, thank you. We appreciate it. This is such a just a huge thing for both of us. I've been telling people about this like a whole week. As soon as we found out, I was texting people like, we got Rodney Perry on the show. So this is like just a huge thing for us. For me as a comedian and Sonny just, Sonny is
Sonny just,
This is Tuesday for me.
He's a lead. Right. This is Tuesday.
This is just Tuesday.
This is a Tuesday for Sonny.
Now, one thing I did, Rodney, so if I can give you a tag, because I've been trying to develop this myself. So what you were talking about with marriage, I feel like marriage should have lease periods like a car. Like every 5 years, you should have to renew your lease on marriage and ask those questions you was talking about. Do y'all still like each other? Can y'all still sleep in the same bed? Can y'all still drink after each other without the other one going, ew? Right. If after 5 years, y'all can, then cool, let's renew this, blah, blah. If not, everybody, so if you can do something with that, you can hack. Because I've been trying to develop it, but I haven't been actively married in so long. I feel like me doing it loses luster.
It ain't your truth no more.
Right. It's not my truth.
I'm anti-marriage.
But if somebody, and then what you were talking about with the funny thing is with the vaccinations, like I'm not anti-vax. The only reason I didn't get vaccinated was because of a George Carlin joke. He tells a joke about swimming in the East River and how because of that, he believes he's immune to everything. Well, the creek down the street from my house, we just learned was actually a sewage runoff.
Oh,
so I've been swimming in sewage my whole life. So I felt the same way. I was like, ain't no way COVID is going to get me. I've been swimming in raw sewage my whole life. And people are like, oh, you're not getting the shot because of Tuskegee and all. No, I just feel like I'm invincible. I've been swimming in sewage since I was a kid. Like, you had to work pretty hard to get through these antibodies.
Right. Yeah, the sip of sewage water.
Right. Man, we thank you so much. One more thing I want to say. Because you are very proud of your kids. And I see that. Your daughter's gorgeous, right? As a comic myself, who my daughter's pretty, and when she grows up, she's gonna be gorgeous. But I know you've had some young buck in your DMs talking about some. So when's your daughter coming to a show or something like that? Have you had any of those that you've had to set a young comedian or just somebody straight about your family?
Well, Rodney Perry, the father, is just that. I mean, I haven't had to deal with it in my comedic life, but you're going to encounter boys. If your daughters like boys, it's either boys or girls.
Right.
So if they like boys, then you're gonna meet boys. If they like girls, you're gonna meet girls. And so, I got some rules in terms of you need to come sit down and chat. You need to come down in this basement and let me see where your head is at, when y'all become serious. And I've had those chats, every little boy is up to no good. They are us.
All of them.
And that's why, God put us in charge, because he's like, yo, you was a dirty little boy, and here goes some more to look at. So, and here's the reality. Your baby is going down. You know, yeah.
I know.
I had to come to grips with it too. Yo, baby, going down. Her mama went down. Her grandmama went down. This little young lady out here, just as cute as pie, and she done went down. She got 2 kids. How many kids you got?
I have 4, sir. 4.
4. Give it up all the time.
Every chance I
shoot the club up. Raw dogging it 4 times at least. And she a good woman. So that goes to show you that you know, if you have a young woman in your life, all you can do is prepare them to pick a good guy. That's all you can do, hopefully. You know, and I used to do this joke. I say, my biggest fear is my daughter fall in love with a drug lord or a kingpin. And she come to me, oh, daddy, he put his hands on me. I'm like, well, hold on. What you do to Pablo? You know, Pablo don't like all that back talk.
Right. You knew your place.
Right.
Oh,
that's kind of it in a nutshell.
I'm glad you said that. You gave me a lot of perspective, because I'm not gonna lie. When my daughter was born, because first off, we didn't know what we was having. We didn't know what we was having until we had it. So when she came out a girl, my first thought was, oh Lord, she got hoe on both sides of her family. What I'm gonna do? Oh. she got hoe passed down from all 23 genes on both sides. What do I do? But so that was just a scary thought for me as soon as she, and I think a lot of dudes have those thoughts. We just don't verbalize them. But
right.
I wanted it to be like, as a dad with a beautiful young lady who's in the public eye, is like, how do you process, you know, that, yes, I'm proud of my kids, but hey, you stay your little dirty ass away from them.
Right. And we don't even show our children until they get a certain age.
Right.
You know, like we don't, like my you probably never seen my baby girl, you know, and so we, you know, me and my wife are really conscious of that and making them public before they should be public. We just don't do it.
Rodney, one last question, because we know you got to get out of here. What do you know you and Monique are close. What do you think about her comeback?
Well, Monique ain't been nowhere, man. You know, here goes, man. I mean, and she and I have talked about this. She was definitely blackballed as it pertains to white America, you know, white Hollywood. But there's a black Hollywood that never let her go. Right. In terms of her fans, the big girl that's somewhere in America, they love Monique. And I know it for a fact that they come to me. Hey, can you get this, Monique? Can you tell Monique? She talked to me one time and she told me this, that, and that. And I love me some Monique. So I meet these girls all the time. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it firsthand. When we were touring together, people would give Monique 20 minutes standing ovations. So Monique is fine. She's fine. I talked to her yesterday, actually. She said, how you doing, sugar? That's my girl.
Good. Well, we're all rooting for her, and we always rooting for you as well. Tell our listeners.
Hold on. Before we go off Monique, I just want to say, what was that year that she hosted the BET Awards and she came out dressed like Beyonce and
she did
the dance?
Yes.
Woo!
I think it was like 08 maybe.
And see, this was before liking big girls was a thing. So I was the only one going, did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Everybody like, man, that's Monique. Bro, she did the whole thing, bro.
The whole thing.
Did.
Now it's popular like big girls. And I just, like you were saying earlier, now I just sound like back in my day, you know, there wasn't even no BBW or plus size. You just like big girls back in my day. Now y'all got all these cute phrases. I'm trying not to sound like that, but you know, I feel like, you know, Monique holler at me. I need my flowers too.
Monique is a married woman.
I don't need her to holler at me like that. I just need her to tell other people that I was on Team Monique before there was a Team Monique.
I can understand.
That's all.
I understand it now. Rodney, tell our visitors and our viewers and listeners out there
where they can find you.
Where they can find you.
He got his account back. It was hacked. He got it back.
Right.
Who hacked my account?
I thought your account got hacked earlier last year.
No, I changed my password. If I think somebody trying to hack me,
I know that's right. Don't click on nothing, Rodney. Nothing.
I don't click on nothing, and I do my porn on my phone.
Yes, don't do none of that. But how can they follow you? And the biggest thing is, how can we support you in your art?
Man, you know what? I'm easy to follow. My social media is all Rodney Perry Live. To support me is to be my friend, man. You know, I said recently at a show is that I'm not looking for followers. I'm looking. I just want to be. I want you to tuck me away in your heart. You know what I mean? And that's more important. You know, we can all get followers, but when people really, really mess with you, they tuck you away in their heart. And anytime your name come up, they sing your praises. So if you can do something for Rodney Perry, just sing my praises sometime every once in a while.
Absolutely.
And then you also have a podcast.
I have a series I call 5 Quick Questions. I do it like on a platform like this, where I put my friends up and I just ask them 5 questions and we get out of there. But it can go from 5 minutes to 25 minutes or 30 minutes. You know, people be long-winded when you get to talking to them. You know.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I was Lunel. First off, Lunel had just rolled out of bed. It looked like that Monday.
She was still in the bed.
Yeah, she was still in the bed. She had on her bonnet and everything, and y'all went for like 45 minutes. I was like, I was.
She's one of my oldest friends too. You know, we go back. You know, we was all Rudy Poos together.
I totally get that. I just think like to anybody who wasn't already on your live, they've never seen that side of Lunel, and it was just, you know, I don't, you know, it's like seeing people that you only know from the Hollywood side in their regular habitat. That's, you know, that's something that we don't get to see that often, but you'll miss that chance if you don't, you know, constantly check different areas of social media. I feel like
facts.
So, well, thank you so much for being on. This is my mentor, Rodney Perry. Thank you so much. Can't wait to try and have you on again or do something else with you in the future. I know we gonna see each other around town. We always seem to just bump into each other, even if it's just getting like a fist.
Yeah, I might go out to Cats tonight, actually.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Okay.
Let's go to Cats, Sonny.
I
gotta get there at 4:30.
I'm tired of getting bumped, so I don't go to Cats. I stand outside, but I don't put my name on the list.
Gotcha.
You gonna quit bumping me? I'm the legendary Sonny G. You at least give me 3 minutes, goddamn. Nah. But thank you so much. You. And this has been Speaking of Funny. Our guest Rodney Perry. I am the legendary Sonny G.
And I'm Bella Spinelli or Bella Hughley, whatever it is.
Whatever she's going by this week.
Powered by Hughley. That's my daddy last name. Yeah, that's what I said. That's why if I ever get married again, I'm gonna hyphenate my my last name because fuck these dudes. My daddy powered by Hughley.
You know what I think? I think when you get married, both of y'all should pick a last name together. Both of y'all should give up the whole. Okay. We ain't Robinsons or Hughleys. We gonna be Jacksons. I feel like everybody should just pick your own last name and just pass that.
Okay, I'm about to go. I don't know what y'all
Thank you, Rodney.
Thank you, Rodney. Have a good
just happened. Funny coming up with ideas.
just you know, so again, that lease on marriage, you know, just every 5 years, just renew it. Just like food stamps.
Y'all still talking now? Okay, I'm about to go.
Let's go. Yeah.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you so much.
Hey man, great job. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Check out the Thinking Out Loud Network at thinkingoutloudnetwork.com.